Hey everybody, failed entrepreneur back again in the basement and making another video because I'm trying to get back into the swing of things with all the free Corona quarantine time I have. So this is just a thought I had a couple days ago. We made a run to the store and it wasn't as crowded as it was when the panicky stuff started happening. I was a little ahead of the curve and had stocked up on some like the basics that everyone needs now, like paper towels, toilet paper, canned food. I was a couple weeks ahead of the curve, so I never really had to go and fight the hectic crowds and stuff. Anyway, so maybe I missed out on some of that, but it was kind of calm now. But it was still weird because a lot of the shelves were still empty of things. Very little diapers, still no toilet paper. What, 2 weeks into this? No paper towels. You could tell what they just got stocked because parts of the shelves were empty, but then other parts would just be like full of stuff they just threw on there. Anyway, so like they just got some bread and they got some like spaghetti and some noodles. So they were still in like the cardboard boxes. They just threw them on the shelf, but everything around that was kind of empty, like no rice, no beans. It's milk is hard to come by and stuff like that. So anyway, it's weird to go even to the grocery store during this time. But highlights something that's kind of been in the news a little bit. People have been making comments, and I think when this is all said and done, it's definitely a warning sign, right? So first of all, the coronavirus is a thing, but it's not as bad a thing as it could be, right? Like luckily it's not like it's not Walking Dead. People aren't falling over in the street, although on occasion maybe, but it's still kind of tame. It could be worse, right? It could be way, way worse. And even if something kind of as tame as Corona, you start to see like the fractures and the stress that it's putting on things like the supply chain and our food system here, and it's showing some vulnerabilities here, right? Like imagine if this was like a much more contagious, a much more deadly disease, right? We'd be screwed, right? This, because like people are dependent. There's so many people. Like the grocery stores is, it's weird to say, it's part of our infrastructure, right? It's a valuable piece of our infrastructure. We can't live without those food delivery hubs, right? And so a big part of this is trying to keep them open and keep them staffed and keep them operating and supplied with food, because when those grocery stores shut down, you can have people starving and rioting and attacking. It could be very, very ugly, right? So it's interesting to see what kind of things really are necessary, right? So things like, and again, you're seeing this all over the news, but grocery stores are necessary right now. Hospitals and hospital staff to take care of people who are sick and with symptoms is necessary, right? Delivery services, things like your Amazon fulfillment centers, right? Because a lot of people who are self quarantining have to go and shop online, but those have to operate too, so people can still try and not say have normalcy, but still try and live, get their food, get their supplies. If those things shut down, right? Which if grocery stores shut down, if hospitals shut down, that's a given. But if even like your Amazon warehouse, because it's become so big, it's become so ingrained right now, that's a weakness. Like that's a big deal. And I guarantee you, I promise you that there's people in the government looking at this right now, and definitely when things calm down, to see how we can't maybe shore up some of those weaknesses. Because like I said, our society, the way we are structured and dependent and built around those basic kind of commodity services, and without them you really are starting to see things starting to fray. Like I said, it's not as bad as it could be, thankfully, but it's putting a lot of stress on things. And if this was a real situation, like say, I don't know, when there was a war, or we were actually attacked by somebody, or some kind of terrorist event, these are all horrible scenarios, or like an even worse virus or disease, it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to really stress the system out. And that's kind of been eye-opening to me. I always said, as long as the grocery store's getting their food, things will be fine. People might be hoarding and they might be like buying more than they need, which is making the problem worse. But can you blame them? Because when is this going to end? Some people are saying, Trump is trying to push, Easter, which you just can't pick a day on the calendar and say we're going to be good by then. It's probably going to probably April, May, right? I'm telling you right now, as an educator in school, they won't say it yet, but all the whispering, the talks, the off the record stuff, schools closed. They're not going to be opening schools back up this year, and then hopefully the summer we can settle things down and have like a regular school year next year. But like I said, the impact here is going to be big, and you're seeing it again with grocery stores and those necessities, right? And some of those workers, some states are actually like full on quarantining, like house arrest type of curfew type of situations, shelter in place, shelter in home. I guess where I'm at it's not the case, but in other states you cannot leave your house because the guard is out and police are out enforcing this kind of social distancing curfew. But it's those grocery store workers, right? It's the people at the pharmacies. It's the people at the hospitals. The nurses are getting like special letters. So if you get pulled over by the police, you can show them your ID and this letter, and they will let you go because you are essential. You're an essential cog in this supply chain, and we're really more dependent on shelf stockers than we might think, right? So it's just weird times and a weird kind of eye-opening experience. And I said in the video yesterday, when this is done, things are going to be different, right? And that might be another video, some more like the long-term ramifications on this. But ain't going to be, looking at food stockers the same way. Nurses, of course, are all, in the people in the medical field deal with this stuff all the time, bless their heart. But really, there's a huge strain being put on them right now. Tons of hours, tons of stress, dangerous conditions. A lot of people in these hospitals working with these sick people are getting sick themselves, and it's not good for them. So they're really putting their lives on the line right now as this continues to unfold. And they're essential, right? If those people don't go to work and do their job, the rest of us, we're not going to be able to survive. I don't know if you saw that Chernobyl miniseries on HBO, right? But kind of like that when they had, they recruit those miners to like go on the roof and you got like 90 seconds to just like get a piece of graphite off the roof, and like everyone had to, these are just miners, but they kind of saved Chernobyl from melting down, and they had to go and do their duty because the rest of the Soviet Union was depending on them and like their sacrifice and putting their bodies on the line. It kind of happened the same way, like I said, with all the crazy corona stuff here. So again, we will see how things play out. It is March 28th. It's a Saturday as I record this, so we're still about two weeks into this whole thing, and it's still got a ways to go. But just some observations at the store. It does not take much to disrupt the system, and it's a lot more frail than I thought it was. Now, when you start seeing things like the fast food restaurants close down, not because of workers and safety reasons, but like if those start getting affected because they can't get supply, like if McDonald's starts, if there's a run on chicken McNuggets, right? Or if they can't get their egg McMuffins, if that supply chain is like disrupted, truck drivers, totally forgot about truck drivers, bringing the food here, right? Same thing. We're very dependent on them. And I guess I would, to end off, I think you're going to see a big, it's there, but a big push towards automation after this, like self-driving trucks. They already are here. Let's get those pushed out so we can have the robots give the food to us, right? Robotic shelf stalkers. Shelf stalkers, that's the thing. They have those already, pushing those out, getting those out there. So if this happens again, you can still have those key kind of hidden, not so obvious infrastructures still operate now with these kind of menial tasks that we really are quite dependent on. It's been a little eye-opening here. I think you're going to see a lot more automation coming from like robots and drones after this, because this is definitely showing a need, right? And if we don't have to put people at risk by keeping them at home, and if we can ensure that the trucks run on time and the food will get put in place, why would you not do that? So be on the lookout to see those probably coming to a grocery store close to you sooner than you thought. So just some thoughts I had today as I try and get this to channels already on life support, but just try and get back in the swing of things. And so that is all. And like I said, failed entrepreneur. That's all for today. And I got things to do. I know you do too. I'll catch you later.